Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be talking about the Gospel Coalition using Finland to attack Christian nationalism. They are using the story of the Finland Bible trial to dunk and score points on Christian nationalism, but it's a complete fail. We're going to talk about that, but I also want to provide some coverage of this pretty important story that's going on in Finland. It has made the rounds, and it will continue to make the rounds because this is a must-win fight, so it seems, for the Finnish government, the Finnish prosecutors or persecutors, to go after a former minister of parliament who's also a grandmother for three things. One, she tweeted Romans 1. She gave a radio interview in 2019, and she also had a church pamphlet or something like that from 2004. So this is a instance of religious persecution going on in the country of Finland. And it's disgraceful what's going on, and the fact that Joe Carter and the Gospel Coalition are trying to use this to dunk on Christians here in the United States, really distasteful. We will do a quick reminder on where the Gospel Coalition has stood in the past on Christian persecution. But first, I will let you know Evangelical Dark Web is a Christian news gathering and commentary ministry. And you can support us over at evangelicaldarkweb.org/join. I do believe we are the first to talk about this article, this disgraceful article written by the Gospel Coalition, and others I think will soon follow. And you can support our work through our Patreon-like system, but you can also check out the free Evangelical Dark Web newsletter. There are more articles than videos or podcasts, but the least you can do is like this video and subscribe to the channel, to the podcast, if you are new, to help out with those magical algorithms. So I'm going to go to the article to kind of do the rundown on this story. Then we're going to watch a quick video on the case and where it was at. So the Gospel Coalition is a well-known Christian bastion, liberal Christian bastion that has a reputation for attacking Christians under persecution from the government. They showed their hand in the case of James Coates as they defended the Canadian government's actions. Now the notorious case of the Minister of Parliament in Finland, former Minister of Parliament, I think, who's on trial for hate speech over a Twitter post quoting the Bible, a 2019 radio interview, and a 2004 church pamphlet. The ADF, that is the Alliance Defending Freedom International, reports that the long-standing parliamentarian and former government minister, I don't know how to pronounce this because it's in Finnish, Päivi Räisänen, is now cross-examined in the Helsinki Court of Appeals and basically was asked to recant her beliefs, which are founded in Scripture. She was acquitted in the lower court's ruling, and a verdict is expected by November 30th on the appellate court ruling because the state appealed after taking their L. They didn't want to take their L and go home. They wanted to double down on it. So we're going to watch this quick video from, I believe it's ADL. It's on their website.
This morning it's been a crazy couple of hours here in the Helsinki Court of Appeal. We've heard from both the defendants, Päivi Räisänen and Bishop Juhana Pohjola. And then just like in the last hearing, we had the cross-examination as the prosecutor essentially was asking them, not using these words, but asking, will they recant what they have written almost 20 years ago? Will they change their teaching? Will they update, bring it in line with the modern day? And essentially, asking, will they recant their beliefs? That was the question before them today, asked over and over again, which of course they refused to do. So we've heard from both of them now. In a few minutes we'll have closing statements, and we ask for your continued prayers and your support. God bless.
So going back to the Gospel Coalition article, Joe Carter, he's the author of the article. He typically writes these, I like to call him BuzzFeed Joe Carter because he basically writes, FAQ type of articles. And he sort of begins this article by doing that before taking a left turn. And by left, I am referencing liberalism to attack Christian nationalism based on unfounded strawman arguments. So this is where the article starts to go downhill because the beginning part is just a summary of the case. He talks about this is known as the Finnish Bible trial. It is a test of the limits of free speech and religious freedom in Finland, the outcome of the trial could have implications for Christians and other religious minorities in Finland and beyond. The trial is also a reminder on the importance of protecting free speech and religious freedom within international law. I don't know what international law has anything to do with this, but all right. Now he brings in his buddy Andrew Walker. Now Andrew Walker is a pretty establishment Southern Baptist figure. He's a professor of Christian ethics at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, and that just shows you that he's not super based. And he's being used to, he's using this case to attack Christian nationalism. I think Joe Carter's tagging on and trying to pile on as well. So Andrew Walker's kind of started this, and he's pointed out as a Christian ethicist, which usually people with that job title suck at their job. What else is worthy of your attention about this case? Asked Walker. That this harassment of a Christian is happening in a country that has an established church. The church Razanen criticized in her tweet for supporting the Pride events is the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Finland. The ELCF, along with the Orthodox Church of Finland, has a legal position as a national church in the country. So then he explains that Joe Carter explains that this church is apostate. In reality, the church, he writes, and its leadership support numerous positions that are incompatible with Orthodox Christianity, such as support for abortion, homosexuality, and transgenderism. They then note that the church is on a decline. So what exactly is the issue here? And I think Andrew Walker and Joe Carter are missing the broader point here. Finland is a nation that has gone apostate. Their churches have gone apostate. Those are not Christian institutions. Those are state-run institutions that have a new god. Their god is liberalism, which is seemingly also the god of the Gospel Coalition. It is a liberal organization. Liberalism and Christianity don't really mix. And you see that with the Church of Finland. You see that with this trial. Finland is in a crisis where they're trying to choose between two masters. Are they going to choose the God of the Bible, or are they going to choose liberalism? This is the choice that they are going to have to make, and that this trial will seemingly help determine. Are they going to hold on to their vestige of tradition, or are they going to go full apostate, steam ahead, and persecute a grandmother for tweeting Romans 1? So that's what's going on here. This is about no one is able to serve two masters because they will hate one and serve the other. The two masters don't get along. And that's what this is about. But they miss the entire point. So Joe Carter then tries to dunk on Christian nationalists. This trial in Finland should provide a lesson to Christian nationalists in other countries who believe that we can and should impose blasphemy laws against heresy. As Europe has shown, you can certainly create a nominally Christian state, church, or government in the West. But establishing a Christian nation doesn't mean much when expressive individualism remains a national religion. As we see in Finland, the established church will inevitably go apostate, and people will leave an established church when any attempt is made to hold the line on orthodoxy. Now, again, there are plenty of examples of non-established churches that have gone apostate. We can look at the ECLA, which is the Lutheran Church, Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, so the American counterpart to the aforementioned Finland denomination. We can look at the Episcopal Church in the United States. We can look at the United Methodist Church. We can look at so many examples of churches that aren't state-backed that also went apostate, meaning that this is not the independent variable that Joe Carter is trying to make it seem. So this is a bad argument on his part. It also should be mentioned that Finland clearly does have blasphemy laws, and these are the blasphemy laws. She offended the gays. the most easily offendable group, but she offended the gays, and that violated a blasphemy law. And that's what they're going after her with. They do have blasphemy laws. It's not a question of whether they do or not. It's a question of what blasphemy laws, which blasphemy is enforced. So there are no neutral institutions. Finland is a textbook example of why there aren't neutral institutions. That's what's going on here, and Joe Carter and Andrew Walker completely miss the point. So we're going to skip down below. Whether Rizanen wins or loses this case, the result is the same. We need to focus more on robust religious liberty protections rather than attempting to create nominal state churches. After all, Walker asks, what good is a Christian nation that persecutes and punishes Christians? Now again, who's considering Finland a Christian nation? Because it's not me, it's not Christian nationalist. They would consider nations like Uganda, Zambia, Hungary Christian nations. So this is a terrible argument. And like I said, Finland is a textbook example of how principled pluralism doesn't work. You can't have a society, you can't have a government that wants to celebrate Christianity and liberalism. It does not work. Ending with a straw man, Joe Carter denounces the movement to create state-established churches. This is a non-existent movement, by the way. Moreover, it is not biblical to advocate any religious liberty that is not for the advancement of the Christian religion. The Southern Baptist Convention notoriously defended the rights of Muslims to build a mosque but supported government lockdowns of churches in 2020. As mentioned, the Gospel Coalition defended such tyranny. And this was against James Coates in Canada. Thus, history demonstrates the subversive history of the Gospel Coalition and its founders. Finland and the Gospel Coalition must choose which God they will serve, liberalism or the God of the Bible. So that is my article. That is my story for today. That's all I got to say about this for now. Have a blessed day. We will catch you on the next one.